Madara is going to return in Boruto as a great villain. As we know, in Boruto was revealed the possibility of travel in the time, and as we know, everything can happen. This leads to believe that Madara can return and make the anime even more sinister. Accompany in this theory, and not forget to, if subscribe in the channel. The silence of the void was broken by the echo of a chakra unknown. Boruto Uzumaki, carrying the marks of battles that nobody could understand, was finding himself in a point beyond of the time. In his search desperate for answers, he used the power of the karma in form unstable, tearing the chains that separated past and future. His intention was clear: return to the origins, learn, prevent the destiny cruel that him awaited. But what he not knew was that, at crossing the time, something would awaken together with him, something ancient, dark, and insatiable. From the echoes distorted of the history, from the remains of chakra of the war more bloody, someone him followed. The man that one day almost dominated the world, Uchiha Madara. Madara not was returning only as the ghost of the past. He was emerging carrying the totality of the power of the Rikudo, his body perfect, his eyes flaming with the brightness of the Rinna Sharingan, and the control absolute over the power of the creation and destruction. The time not him had weakened, by the contrary, only amplified his hunger of victory. If in the past he had been defeated by circumstances, now, at crossing the chains temporal following the trail of Boruto, he was finding himself free, immortal, and complete. Boruto perceived late too much. At arriving to the past, he believed that he would have the chance of change the line of the destiny, maybe alert Naruto and Sasuke of a threat greater. But when the clouds black began to spin above of the skies and the world trembled with the presence of a chakra that nobody should carry, he understood. Madara was there, alive, in his peak, and no more as an enemy of the past, but as the shadow definitive that was extending above of all the times. The war began without announcement. Madara advanced with the confidence of a god, and even the more strong shinobis of the age past nothing could do. Naruto, still young but already carrying the force of the Kurama, was the first to launch himself against him, only for be smashed in instants by the superiority overwhelming of that power. Sasuke, with his Sharingan burning, tried to foresee his movements, but even his perception failed before the speed and the malice of the Rikudo Madara. Each blow, each charge was as the weight of a mountain smashing the hope. Boruto, astonished, tried to fight. His karma pulsed, the power of Momoshiki burned in his veins, but the contrast was brutal. Madara not only was fighting, he was playing with the time, distorted realities, manipulated dimensions as a toy in his hands. Each time that Boruto thought and hit a blow, he perceived that was hitting only illusions. Fragments created by the distortion of the infinite Tsukuyomi that was beginning to mold itself. The villages hidden united themselves more one time. The Raikuji roared with all his power. The armies of Konoha and allies raised themselves as one only. But not there was resistance capable of stop the advance. Madara was raising himself as a demon invincible, undoing each technique, smashing each jutsu, crossing defenses as if they were made of glass. His Susanoo, now in form divine, was elevating itself above of the horizon, greater than mountains, reflecting the eyes of the apocalypse. And then, the plan revealed itself by complete. Madara not was seeking more the dominion nor the recognition. He not wanted govern. He wanted the end. The infinite Tsukuyomi not would be only an eternal dream for imprison the humanity, but yes, the collapse definitive of the reality. He would use the power of the Rinna Sharingan not for create illusions, but for fuse all the beings in a only consciousness, erasing the individuality, consuming the life until that only the void remained. The moon was marked by the eye divine. The chains of light began to spread themselves and all one by one were dragged. Shinobis, civilians, warriors, even the animals, all were sucked to inside of the nightmare without end. Naruto screamed until his voice lost itself. Sasuke tried cut the chains with his blade, but they were swallowed by the mantle cruel of the eternity. The forces of the earth, of the water, of the fire, of the wind, and of the lightning dissolved themselves in dust before the collapse. Boruto, in despair, used all what he had. The power of the karma shone, the remnants of Momoshiki roared inside him, and for an instant he seemed to reach Madara. His Rasengan expanded, charged by the time and by the space, exploded against the wall of the Susanoo. But was in vain. Madara not even moved himself. With a gesture, he absorbed the energy, returning it multiplied, smashing Boruto against the ground and breaking each fiber of his resistance. The world was erasing itself. The villages were being swallowed by the darkness. The sea was becoming blood crystallized by the reflection of the moon. The forests were undoing themselves in ashes of dreams. Madara was walking slowly, each step as the sound of a drum divine announcing the end. Not there was more allies. Not there was more gods or demons. Not there was salvation. Boruto, bleeding, tried to raise himself. His eyes blue, reflecting the brightness of the hope inherited of Naruto, still were keeping themselves firm. He screamed, defied, launched his body against the storm, but was only a spark before the fire. Madara raised his hand and the world froze. "This is the end." His voice echoed his sentence. "The dream will become reality, and the reality will become nothing." The last vision was the moon covering the sky entire, the eye divine shining with intensity unbearable. The infinite Tsukuyomi finally complete, but now in its version final, beyond of any imagination. Boruto fell, dragged by the same destiny of all. His resistance erased itself, his flame was extinguished, and thus the earth died. Not there were heroes, not there were sacrifices capable of prevent. The legacy of the shinobis, of the clans, of the battles, of the victories and defeats, all lost itself in the eternity of the dream. Madara raised himself as the only survivor, the god supreme, but not even he was seeking company. In his solitude absolute, he contemplated the void that he had created, and smiled. The time stopped of exist. The space stopped of matter. Everything was absorbed in the eternity of the nightmare. The history arrived to the end. The world ninja, its legends, its warriors, its gods and monsters, all erased itself under the shadow of Madara. Not remained nothing beyond of the silence eternal. And in the end, the prophecy was inverted. Not was the heir of the future that would save the world. Was the shadow of the past that finally it destroyed. Do not forget to subscribe in the channel and activate the notifications for continue accompanying all our videos.